Welcome to the Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast, infused with hip hop. I am Wood.
You stay classy, internet. I'm Suave Burgundy.
Kept that shit short and sweet.
Yeah, like, look, until we get a consensus on what the new and improved show open is going to be, there's no point in trying to shuffle through and juke move through all those other, adjectives and superlatives.
Absolutely. Today, oh shit! I just realized what today was.
Do you know what today is?
It is an anniversary, actually.
A word?
Yeah.
Okay. Anniversary of what?
As evidenced by this lovely shirt that I'm wearing.
Okay.
Courtesy of Lords Underground. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
Today is August 11th. Year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
I said, year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
20 and 20. Tree.
Wigglewee convenient, bring me your dinner bucket.
Let the church say.
Hey, man.
Today is the 50th anniversary of hip hop.
Today.
Like 50 years ago, Kool Herc was on the corner of Sedgwick and Cedar running an orange cord with a sound system. And this is way before.
Batman King.
Booyaka shot. He just happens to be from Jamaica. That's why I threw that in there.
Okay, I can dig it.
And yeah, hip hop was born and coined at a party, and a flyer that was written on an index card.
I like it.
So
in honor of that, since today is the day, I'm gonna go ahead and start. Everybody on our timeline been doing their 10 days of hip hop with their favorite albums.
Yep.
I'll go ahead and start mine.
Shouts out to Viz, 18. Shouts out to Fats.
Indeed, gang. I'm gonna go ahead and start my my countdown Monday. That's what I'll do. I'll go ahead and start my 10 days. Now that the actual anniversary has come and it's been celebrated, we'll go ahead and I'll do my 10.
I would have to. For me, I can't do like the top. For me, it would probably be the most. It would have to be like for me the most influential.
Right. I mean, it's your 10. Like whatever reason you pick them, they don't have to be in any order. It's just 10 albums over the history of hip hop that have impacted you.
Yeah. So, I'm definitely going to jump in on that.
I'm probably going to try to mixtape my 10.
I may even do a 2-day collage, like where it might have like a picture of 5 and then have like another picture of 5 the next day. So the way I get all the 10 out the way.
I thought about that, but I'm like, I'm actually cheating the process if I don't do one every day. If I just pick 10 photos or pick 10 albums and put them on either on a list or just one big collage, I'm like, I'm kind of cheating the holiday. Plus, content. That's the other part. I'm fighting the algorithm.
There's a concert going on in Yankee Stadium right now, featuring all eras of hip hop. The only thing I didn't see were graph artists. But
you can't really ignore that part of hip hop.
I don't think that it's I don't think they're not going to be there. I just didn't see them on there because naturally street art is still technically illegal in most places. I'm sure in New York City there's some ordinances, especially inside of Yankee Stadium.
Until they want a mural.
Yeah, that doesn't mean the crew.
It's illegal until they want a mural to beautify the neighborhood. So
let a rapper die.
Right. Prohibition was the thing at one point. Not now.
Shit, now it's art. We don't talk about art.
They don't talk about art.
It's plain and simple.
Actuals.
Last episode, which was another phenomenal Broken Pencil Booking Company tournament, which was this Mr. SummerSlam. It was.
Shout out to the new subscribers.
Oh man, new pencil pushers, gang.
We got new followers, new subscribers, everything brand new. We out here getting to it. So I appreciate you. Shout out. Thank you for joining the gang. We saved a spot for you and you took advantage.
You are gang, and as you will soon find out where the gang goes,
the gang goes.
A whole lot of fucking gang shit.
Factual.
a few episodes ago, I made the mistake of jumping the gun. I was already thinking that we were already there on Gunther's Walter in our house title reign.
Which gun you jump, Billy or Bart?
Neither.
Price just went up.
So you jumped the gun. I just, I need to know which one to be looking out for.
Yeah, neither of those guns. I misquoted the date that was it the day after WrestleMania that he would what was the pay-per-view after WrestleMania? Roadblock? Not Roadblock. What was one in Puerto Rico?
Detour. Oh, Backlash.
Yeah,
it wasn't Backwash this year. It was Backlash.
No, it was definitely Backlash this year.
Definitely Backlash.
I was under the impression that the Monday after Backlash, Walter would have tapped the Honky Tonk Man's record, and then the next day eclipsed it.
Oh.
Tapping records, really? That's what you get at?
It was just funny. It was funny to me.
All right.
To me.
That said, that out the way. I told you last episode I'd have the actual number.
Okay.
The magic number right now, as of today, is 406.
Okay, so we got a little ways to go.
We have 59 more days to go. No, I'm sorry, 49 more days to go.
Okay, so
before the record is actually broken.
Being August 11th, so where does that put us? 54 days.
54? 59.
How many? 59?
49.
Because the record is 454.
454 is tied
to 406.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So 49. All right, so 49 days breaks the record. So 31 days from today puts us at September 11th. So that would say
48 days, but yes, 49 puts you in the lead. Yeah.
All right, so 31. So the 21st is 41. The 28th is 48. So right around October was that SmackDown? It might even be a Raw. Hold on 1 second. Now I gotta pull my calendar out. You and these questions, Suave, I swear.
Look, I mean, we're trying to provide the pencil pushers with insight they wouldn't get anywhere else.
31, 38.
We're the closest thing to real legitimate wrestling media that exists. We ain't just out here making up shit.
52, 54.
We're doing live.
Live would be October the 5th.
It's my mom's birthday. Turn up.
Hey, turn up.
It's a Thursday, so I mean, if we could get a title defense on Friday on SmackDown, that'd be cool.
And that would probably be the season premiere, I'm assuming, somewhere thereabouts of SmackDown.
Probably. So if you don't get any cross-pollination with brands, his celebration would be October 9th. Meaning you would get a title defense on the 2nd just to solidify he's going to break the record. So that Monday, October 2nd, I would assume if I was holding the pencil, Walter would be my main event.
And I'll probably have him go against The Miz.
You think?
Yep.
I know why you're booking that. Just,
Yeah, Miz's character arc right now isn't the most appealing. Keep it 1,000. He's
not turning face anytime soon, nor should he.
Nope.
Not after what he did. Not after he cooked LA Knight.
But
I'm gonna keep it 100. He low key exposed the boy. He cooked him a little bit. He grilled him lightly on both sides. It was like grilled cheese sandwich.
But not for nothing. That's what 20 years in the year do for you.
I mean, I completely understand it. From a production standpoint, if I'm producing content and I say, okay, let's see if he can sink or swim, toss him out there with the dude who has been tossed out to sea more times than anybody you can count.
Boy,
and came back swimming. No life raft. Like, he got Daniel Bryan up out of there. He was cooking with Ziggler. Like, I don't really feel like he's ever just dropped the ball when put in that position. Like, when he goes either off script or just goes from inside his chest, when he's saying with his chest, he's undefeated. I have not seen it. Okay, Cena was the only one. And that's because Cena uses this. This was at that time where everybody had that same narrative talking about Cena, about him being a part-timer.
The part-timer,
and then Cena's
Doom type, yada yada, all that dumb shit.
Right. And then Cena's comeback for everyone was, well, I'm here because you can't do your job.
I know something about you. You went to Cranbrook. It's a Catholic school.
Clarence parents have a real good marriage. Right, so.
Oh, shit.
I tell you what, throw Miz and Cena back in that situation again now. I don't think it's going to come off the same. I really think Mike could get it.
No one can talk wrestling talk with anyone. With Miz right now, no one outside of the full-time scope of WWE can talk wrestling talk with the Miz. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea.
He put LA Knight on skates.
If Unk is in the back giving mic cuts to those worthy of having it, the last person you want to go into a sparring match with right now from a wrestling standpoint is The Miz.
Like it wasn't quite Crawford Spence, but if you go back and watch it, it's like he staggered you at the end of round 7. He almost stopped your ass in round 7.
When you stumble and have to acknowledge the stumble, that is an 8 count knockdown.
Hey, let me see your hands. What round is it? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm in the ring. Let's go.
We was this close from like a shocking grand opening, grand closing. We were close to that.
Because we both know it can happen on the microphone in WWE. Like you losing on the mic.
Yeah, I take that back. Karrion Kross was grand opening, grand closing.
Oh, the Adam Cole.
Karrion Kross and Adam Cole was grand.
The lump of coal.
Facts was born out. The lump of coal was born out of that. That was grand opening, grand closing. LA Knight can recover from this. But
lump of coal has doomed Karrion Kross, even in his turn and hair growth. Doomed him.
I just want some direction for everybody. That's all. That's what I want. I want everybody to have a clear, defined direction and something to work towards. Because this thing with AJ Styles is going on far too long.
All right, let's speaking of the WWE and things that's happened this week. We had a pay-per-view last week. We had SummerSlam,
a premium live event.
It was also on pay-per-view.
Was it?
It's a big 5. It's definitely on pay-per-view.
I don't do them shits no more.
Hopefully we never have to again.
You feel me? You feel me? Okay, bring them back if you want to.
I digress.
Well, dust off that BitTorrent site.
Boy.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Man, listen, the ghost of internet past.
I was Joan of Arc in my former life.
If we could line up the ghost of internet past and open up the floodgates for one day.
Boy.
I don't know if I'm going to Win in Mex. I don't know if I'm going to Napster. I don't know if I'm going back to like the BitTorrent wrestling sites. I don't shit.
Yeah, Napster was never a gold mine for me like it might have been for other people.
I got in at the very at the bitter end is when I got in. And that's when I also got introduced to Win in Mex. While people were on BearShare and shit like LimeWire, I was on Win in Mex.
LimeWire, that's the one they used to just have a whole bunch of mislabeled ass files. You'd spend days at a time trying, because this is before like YouTube had the rabbit holes. You would like, if I wanted to see like when Hayabusa broke his neck, that fucking clip was mislabeled like 60 times. So you had to download like 8 versions of the same labeled clip just to actually see the real file. Just that's how you know you've been outside before.
And end up in this bitch simultaneously.
Simultaneously.
Oh man. Before I get any further, for the new pencil pushers, here's how you get a hold of us. Show at brokenpencilbc.com, brokenpencilbc@gmail.com. Those are the email addresses.
Facts.
At Broken Pencil BC on any and everything social. That's at Broken Pencil BC on what?
Everything.
All right, now let's proceed. Yeah. the SummerSlam cards, the official card kicked off with Logan Paul versus Ricochet. And although we got exactly what we wanted out of the match, we knew it was going to end in some bullshit. And it's going to further the storyline. But I don't.
We knew what it was when it got booked. We were going for the equivalent of a spot fest. It was designed and predetermined for Logan Paul to get a win because he hasn't had one.
He needed one.
And then it was an opportunity for Ricochet to get over while not going over. Which you got to let the audience decide what you enjoyed mic work wise. Mic work might be time to figure out, who can we put him with type thing. And then, in ring, I mean, when did we say this? Like how many episodes ago? Like there's nobody who can do what Ricochet does even close to the way he does it.
Probably about 4 episodes ago, because the last 2 or 3 have been tournaments. So yeah,
and wasn't long ago. I've been advocating for Rico to get some type of push for a while, but we got to either.
I hate they had to bring his lady into this though. That's just tacky, especially
of course
her position.
Who are you dealing with? I haven't had to say that in a long time.
I'm sorry.
We are in the national capital of tacky. Like tacky behavior is what this business thrives on.
Man,
any opportunity to do something in poor taste and potentially get away with it, it's gonna be done. Do we have to go through all of the different names that? Okay, what was Walter's full name gonna be before they did this thing with Gunther?
Oh man, U-boat captain,
Gunther Stark.
Yeah.
Google it. Get back to us after you read and do your Googles. What else? What else has been done? It was almost done in poor taste. Hell, Vince McMahon's entire 2022 is in poor taste. Anytime we can get out here and be tacky and be petty and all around assholish, they're gonna take that opportunity. And this is no different.
The leave and the return, tacky. Just but this, all that aside, Logan Paul's match went on first for one specific reason.
Right.
Jake Paul was in Dallas to fight one of the Diaz brothers. Just stealing money to fight one of the Diaz brothers.
He's gonna be stealing money. Call a spade a spade.
And he left Detroit, went to Dallas in the same gear he wrestled in, and accompanied his brother in a fucking tank.
It smelled like a middle school locker room.
Fast forward.
Done funked up somebody's jet, smelling like a whole middle school locker room.
We finally put a bow on Cody versus Brock. Cody gets the win and the respect and admiration for one Brock Lesnar. After all this shit, all the injuries, everything he did to torment his dear sweet mama, Brock Lesnar shakes Cody's hand.
I was right. I'd like to hit. Could you hit the bell for me, please?
And I'll give you some of that too.
I told people right after WrestleMania when all this piss and vinegar was going on about Cody not finishing his story yet, and then what they did the next night, starting with Lesnar, I said he's going to be better off at the end of this than he was winning the Royal Rumble. At this point, winning the Royal Rumble was more of a we don't have anybody else. It's almost a mistake because Cody had done great work before the pec injury, but that time off stopped the momentum because he didn't have all the other side missions necessary to put him in a position where he is the guy. He is very much on that road now.
Speaking of on the road, you notice how Cody sidesteps Seth ever since his post-return match? He's never had to deal with Seth directly.
Because that's not his goal.
No shit.
So, and I'm glad they're doing it that way. Nobody wants that participation ribbon.
That's the irony of matter of fact, who better?
better than Canyon.
Who better to come out and challenge someone to take his title than Kung Fu Panda to the one person who
don't want it,
beating his funky ass every time they step in the ring, and Cody Rhodes.
You keep this shit. I don't want it. Okay, but here's something I thought of.
That would be the shit. If Cody was like, yeah, I don't want the title. I just want to beat your ass again.
Here's something I thought that was actually kind of cool. So, referencing back to the Bud Crawford Errol Spence fight, it was a unification bout for, welterweight supremacy and to be the first person to collect all of the Infinity Stones. What if Cody's road to challenging Roman at WrestleMania 40 included him winning the world championship and using it as bait for Roman?
So he's already unified 2 titles.
Yeah, your 3 versus my 1, basically. Even though it's really only 2 titles, you have 3 belts. Your 3 belts against my
3 belts, absolutely.
So you have Roman flirt with the idea of unmatched, unmitigated dominance. And then, but the whole thing is, if you put Cody in that situation where he already has a belt, I don't know if you kind of temper the response for when he wins the big one. That's my only issue.
I'm still not sold on Cody versus Roman at 41.
Well, 40. If it's 41, people gonna
or 40. I'm sorry, 40. You're right.
Okay. Well, okay. Mixtape. Give me your top 5. Who's in line? If Cody ain't the guy, who's in line for Roman at WrestleMania 40? Give me your top 5 right now.
I hate to say this name first. Jay.
Well, I said that. I said it. I believe it. I know the story's there, but I also feel like after what happened at SummerSlam, I don't know if the audience will tolerate another match between them. Because now at this point, they've headlined 1, 2, 3. Another match at WrestleMania would be the 4th headline pay-per-view that they've had against each other.
Yep.
And it's been a gimmick match almost every time.
Yep.
So
we had Hell in a Cell. We had I Quit.
Hell in a Cell was also with a strap match. Like you had a double fuck around. So maybe the first match was the only one that was just a match. Then the Hell in a Cell with the strap, and then wasn't there another one after that? Well, that was the
third one was
one
we just saw. Yeah.
So I don't think, I'm not sold or convinced that you can get that 4th.
Truth be told, outside of Cody, I can't think of 3 others that are going to be worthy enough in that time frame. Drew,
here's your problem.
Drew, we don't even know his status is going to become WrestleMania, and we don't know what his trajectory is going to be between here and there anyway. So it's not like anybody even gives a shit.
See, with Drew, reports are out that he is not re-signed. He came back and did some business, but is one of his holdout requirements is a fully fleshed out story. He wants something Roman-esque. And
which
when I took
that,
why?
Because Roman's story is based on real life shit. It's based on him and his family.
That fits too. But here's the thing about that. I don't.
Here's the thing.
I don't necessarily think when he says he wants something similar to Roman that he wants a bloodline story specifically. It means I want
compelling TV that's sustainable.
I want a plan. I want some creative, and I feel like top 5 heels, top 5 baby faces all need at least 1 year of creative mapped out. One of those situations, barring injury, this is how your year is going to go. If you get hot, we will divert and do this. If not, we will stay the course with this and then reevaluate come New Year's Day.
Just like when the civil rights movement happened and kids had questions to their grandparents about the end of slavery, right? Like,
just took a turn.
The legends are dying, is what I'm saying. So you have the opportunity in the creative aspects to go back and talk to these territory writers, those who actually care to still have conversation with you, those who you care to have conversation with. You have a limited window of opportunity to go back and figure out what went right during those times and recreate greatness. I ain't saying you have to go reinvent the damn wheel. What I'm telling you is you need to refresh your paper that you're on.
Even if you don't take the time to go talk to, the forefathers of booking, you have an entire network catalog to go through to see what worked and what didn't. And there's nothing new in wrestling. It's just being reformatted.
And knowing that what you saw back in the day through the tape libraries was booked backwards. Some for a year back, some from like 6 months, 3 months, even a month. But it was booked backwards from the finish to the beginning.
Where do you want this person to be at the end of this 1 year period? So you're booking, say, for WrestleMania 40, you've booked your finishes. This is where you want these people to be cemented. And then you work backwards. Or in this case, if we said WrestleMania 41, this is what we want. So then starting the day after WrestleMania 40, that creative goes into effect. This is what we're working towards because we have a plan. Roman's the only one out here with a plan. We had this conversation 1 or 2 episodes ago about who else in the company has compelling creative that you care about.
The only person for me right now is Gunther. And that's only because of the title reign. We got to see him break Honky Tonk Man's title reign. That's
so
it.
Boom. You can put him on the list. You're not putting Cody on there, but you can put Walter on the list. So who else on your list?
On my list?
Yes, 5. I need 4 more.
I got you 2. I got you Jay. I got you Walter. I don't even know who else I can put on there. No one else is. We haven't got a good enough job of making stars.
You're proving my point as to why it's gonna be Cody, but continue.
No, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just.
But you're like you weren't convinced. I'm like, okay, well, give me a substitute.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm not convinced. But there's nothing else compelling that tells me it's perfect timing for this instrumental. Nothing else compelling that tells me that that's going to happen.
Okay, so
that's not going to happen, rather.
So if I had to put together 5-piece tenders from Williams, brown gravy, please, strawberry soda, and then give me a side of jalapeno poppers. If I had to put that shit together like this, I'm gonna agree with you. Jay should be on that list.
That's a real degenerative menu. Go ahead.
Man, look, we outside. There's nothing health conscious about that particular selection. There's no way you pull into that parking lot thinking, you know what, I'm gonna count carbs today.
When I tell you about the things that I haven't sent you, go ahead.
Exactly. Now that highbrow shit that we be doing in these group texts is totally different. However, I'll put Jay on that list. I feel like the story is compelling enough that he should be the one. Cody is an obvious one because he just has the momentum. If Cody didn't exist, it would be Jay without a question. But Cody is doing all-time babyface work, especially for this modern era. The story exists for Seth Rollins. Same premise as if Cody walked in with the championship. Basically, you're going to do another unification bout. Walter, just because Walter is a performer and a character that if he changed absolutely nothing other than the people he was beating the shit out of, he'd be a face. No, look at it.
Listen. You say that, but him beating the shit out of people, by the time he gets to 455, he may be a face by default, doing the exact same shit. The same thing
you have to do is
3 years ago.
All you do is change the opponents because he says the ring is sacred. He's loyal to his crew. They don't cheat very often. Gunther gets clean wins against everybody. And he's there every week.
Nasty, clean wins with a stacked power bomb for a finish. How old school is that?
All I'm saying. So he's on the list. And then a 5th. I'll do it because the internet will be happy about it. I'm a little less convinced of it now. Now that I saw the Miz get busy real quick, but LA Knight, because he's the guy that the internet and that the fan base has picked and anointed.
But will he win?
Hell no. Hell no, he won't. I don't know what you could do for him creatively between now and January, other than giving him a win in the Royal Rumble that will prepare him for that space.
Not happening. Not happening. I'm gonna tell you.
I don't even argue for it. I would say he should be like a final 6. He should be maybe even final 4. But
I'll say final 4. Let the fans think you're gonna get what you want. But here's my next question. Now that you bring up the Royal Rumble, and funny that you mentioned that, because LA Knight wins the Slim Jim Battle Royal that we talked about, and essentially becomes a made man in the process.
Those ads are going to be funny.
Absolutely,
they're going to be great. He's going to get some other money with that. He might Randy Savage himself with that.
Who do you see coming out of the Royal Rumble? I don't think it can be Cody. I don't think it can be LA Knight. But Cody coming out of the Royal Rumble may be the only way that we get to Roman, unfortunately.
Nah. In that respect, if Cody's the guy to get to Roman, just trust Heyman. Trust Heyman to make it work. Period. Just trust Heyman to make it work.
In God MC we trust.
Take LA Knight off as the sympathetic pick. He can be the honorable mention. Damian Priest is the 5th.
Ooh.
Because he always has an opportunity to pounce.
Think about this too. How about this shit? Damian Priest wins the Royal Rumble. Oh. Damian Priest wins the Royal Rumble, challenges Roman, loses, and he still has the Money in the Bank contract.
I say Damian Priest wins the Royal Rumble, chooses to go against Seth, beats him, and then shows up at the end of the night to cash in on whoever Roman's dealing with.
And he's going to be close enough to home to where that shit blows.
Look, if we had an international WrestleMania fucking around, like, this would be epic. But it's Philadelphia. It's Philadelphia. It's Philadelphia, bro. Like, that's gonna play into it as well. Like, that's one of the more opinionated crowds in the United States. They're going to have a say about how this goes.
It is a wrestling town, but it's also a sports town, and
it is also a open scab in sports history.
It is sepsis for sports.
It is a toxically infected wound.
It is a staph infection is what that bad boy.
It is a bandage dripping sore.
It is Terry Taylor's head wrapped in tape after a match with Kamala.
My God, today. It is Finn Balor's forehead after WrestleMania 39 in Hell in a Cell.
It is Randy Orton's forehead after a match with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam.
It is the back of Mankind's head after Royal Rumble 99.
It is Brock Lesnar's head after a match with Cody Rhodes in Puerto Rico.
It is Randy Orton's head after SummerSlam main event with Brock Lesnar.
I just said that.
Did you?
Yes.
Well, fuck it. It's Triple H's arm after a WrestleMania semi-main event with Brock Lesnar.
I'll bottom line it with this one. It is Abdullah the Butcher's whole career.
Work the yob, mijo. Work the yob.
All right. Oh shit. Here's a black eye on the SummerSlam.
All right.
An MMA rules match: Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey. And I didn't see Ronda quite losing like this, but it looks like the one that came out worse for wear was Shayna Baszler.
Understand what the intention was. The intention was to put Baszler over in the most gutsy fashion possible. One, you shouldn't have put MMA rules on top of this if you weren't going to go with an MMA aesthetic. Because visually, okay, when they changed Fight Pit to what Riddle and Seth Rollins did at Extreme Rules, that's not the Fight Pit of NXT. The Fight Pit of NXT is something a little more akin to
Ken Shamrocks.
Not even that, because I mean, Lions Den was essentially a smaller octagon.
Right. There you go.
Which I would have taken that, like, especially it's SummerSlam. That would be that happened in '98, so it's an homage to a previous SummerSlam.
We talked about the kissing cousins thing on the last episode. Oh, you know who ain't gonna win?
Like, I don't understand the logic of putting MMA rules on this, but not giving a visual for the fan to adapt to. And they just didn't want to see Ronda Rousey.
Every MMA company not named UFC uses what type of fighting arena?
Some sort of multi-sided shape.
It's a ring. It's usually a circle.
Just something to that
wrapped in cage. The UFC is the only one that has an octagon. UFC is WWE is synonymous with having UFC talent come in from the octagon. Matt Riddle, Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler.
You could have cinematically pre-recorded this and gone back to Raw Underground.
You could have gotten the fucking octagon by name.
You could have, but you know. Again,
you could have got Big John McCarthy there.
Again, if this was, what year was WrestleMania 34?
2016? No, that was 2018.
So if this was 2018 or 19, people would be absolutely engaged with this. But Ronda Rousey's second run has been fumbled to the point of no return, and people are disinterested. As much as they want to see Shayna Baszler do something bad to Ronda Rousey, they don't care enough about Ronda Rousey to sit through it.
I think the next time we see Ronda Rousey is probably going to be at the Hall of Fame acceptance speech.
Does she really get a Hall of Fame induction at this point?
We've already talked about her having one of the most elaborate debuts for an outsider at WrestleMania.
This is true. It's just, you know, the world we live in. It's what have you done for me lately? You're only as good as your last song.
And that last song sucked.
The whole sophomore album sucked. She had the sophomore jinx. So now you're going to have to hype Williams and a whole bunch of celebrity features buy your way back into the good graces.
People didn't want to cheer you when it was made for you to be cheered. They end up cheering the person that you should be getting boos for.
But see, this is why someone like Drew is like, look, if I'm gonna re-sign with you for long term, I need to know that I'm gonna be taken care of creatively. There's nothing wrong with Drew McIntyre as a talent, as an in-ring talent. He looks the part, all of the above. You're not giving him compelling creative to make him compelling to the audience so they want to see him. And if you could do that with Ronda Rousey, who is literally a worldwide star and a legitimate fighter, if you can fumble that bag, then obviously, if I'm Drew, of course I want you to put something on paper that I agree with. Same way Bray Wyatt came in with his negotiation tactics before whatever happened that derailed it. He was like, look, I need this, this, and this. Now you fucking around fired one of those, but it is what it is.
Here we go with the mid-show messages from the missus in 3, 2, 1, send. Okay. All right. We're good.
You marked it?
No, we're good. We're good. It's cool. What's next? Seth Rollins. No, Gunther versus Walter in our house versus Drew McIntyre for the IC title. We knew who was going to win, and again, we just talked about it. Nothing compelling for a year. I think it needs to be for at least a year in order to make him say, okay, I'll resign, but it needs to be resigned for a year.
You can't. We're in an era that you can't just use matches as
leverage.
Yeah, like people need story, especially for dealing with people who are Stanford centric.
I was just watching a AEW Dynamite from this past Wednesday.
Okay.
And they made mention of Hikaru Shida, how she won the title. This is her second title reign for the AEW Women's Championship. Now, the first title reign was her carrying the company on her back.
Seems like really odd timing, but yeah.
During the pandemic. And now she was able to win it in an arena full of fans to take the title, possibly across the waters and defend it at All In.
So Tony Khan did for Hikaru Shida what WWE still hasn't done for Drew McIntyre.
There we go. There we go. That's exactly where I was going with this.
And then here's the flip side of that coin. I don't think Drew would get any better creative if he went to Jacksonville. Like, that's not their thing.
And he's so big at this point, pause, that if he goes back to Impact, he'll jump off the screen compared to the talent they have there now, not named Moose.
Man, take your talents to Japan and quit bullshitting. Don't do that. Don't. I'm not gonna follow you if you go back over there. I'm just gonna tell you now. I'm not following you over there. No. It's too much wrestling to watch in a week anyway. Like, you got to do something really incredible over there. Like, you gonna need the greatest creative of wrestling history, which that spot's already occupied. I ain't gonna be able to do it. I'm not gonna follow you over there because no, thank you.
The Drip God Kung Fu Panda Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the world title, for the participation trophy world championship. The battle of 7 years continues on, and Finn is still salty about what happened to him winning the first Universal title and then not being able to defend it due to injuries caused by Seth Rollins.
Let that man finish his story. See, and this is another one where the dirt sheets lied, where they were like, this is going to be a shorter than normal title reign for Seth Rollins. 6 months later, where are we?
Face of the network.
Huh? What?
When you
that's a lot.
Remember when he was in the middle of the U.S. title hunt, when that was all that USA had? This is Seth's thank you for being the Iron Man of Raw.
Participation ribbon.
Whatevs, I said it. Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair versus Asuka. Asuka loses her title to Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair teases of heel turn, but man, she actually pulled out the victory, only to have it taken away from her with a cash in. So your winner, Women's World Champion, for the first time, Mrs. Money in the Bank, Io Sky. And joining her was Dakota Kai and Bayley. Oh, MVP is Bayley on this one. Bayley came in with that briefcase and cleared the whole aisle out.
Lead blocking like Zach Martin. Will you please pay this man so he can get back in camp?
There were so many ways that could have gone in Bayley's favor, and she decided to take the highest role possible, and she played the best blocking offense I have seen in a long time in a faction, if not ever. That shit was amazing. What she did was fucking amazing. Go back and watch that, just the run in, if nothing else, the cash in, if nothing else, because that was phenomenal.
I like the fact that Uncle Trips decided to roll the dice. He went in a different direction. We didn't get yet another reign for Chick Flair.
Right, and not even a win for that matter.
Yeah, like I like that. Now, of course, at some point the Chick Flair is coming.
This is just about getting her lick back.
Yeah, she gonna get her lick back. This is just how things are set up. How, when, and in what format, that remains to be seen. But we're not finna go too much longer without Charlotte Flair wearing a belt. It's just life.
For real. Even if she has to go to Raw to get it.
That's another person who, like, on the next set of negotiations really needs to put in for some, specified creative, because that I feel like her career has been sandbagged by not having proper creative.
Not just sandbag, she probably has among the shortest combined title reigns for anybody actively wrestling across all organizations.
Stat padding. When in doubt, flare it out.
Oh shit! Then the main event in Tribal Combat, Roman Reigns defeats Jey Uso with a turning Jimmy Uso on his brother.
Not sure how I feel about this totally. Like, I knew we were gonna get here. I don't know if I'm completely on board with how, but I know we here. And then when all else fails, trust Heyman.
I was like, you knew, something told you we weren't going to get it, because we didn't get it in Canada with Sammy, because you don't win at home, number one. We just knew, like, even though I predicted that Roman wasn't going to win, I just knew that he was. I just wasn't expecting it to be Jimmy, because I said bring out the other cousins, or bring out some cousins. I didn't realize it was going to be Jimmy. I knew Jimmy was going to show up, but I didn't realize it was going to be in this fashion. But the dope shit is, what made me feel even more confident about this decision with Roman was in the press conference after the pay-per-view. Heyman was asked, what inning is it? And he quickly replied with bottom of the third. Man, listen, if we're playing baseball and we're just 33% done with the game that we're watching, that has been going on for 3 years, and we don't know what the future holds, and Heyman is basically on board for all of it, because he said he didn't have any plans after Brock, but he's been here for 3 years since Brock, and had Brock in the middle of this.
He's turning in his masterpiece. He's turning in his WWE masterpiece as far as creative is concerned. So when in doubt, trust Heyman. This story can and will continue post Roman title reign. When Roman eventually wins or loses the title, this story can continue, because why? It is draped up and dripped out in real life.
No, I'm talking about.
And you have a who's who of wrestling, past, present, and future, that you can inject into this story
at any given time.
And they are real life related. Let alone if you decide to pull another outsider in and elevate them. Because I heard somebody was like, well, it's only them involved. They don't bring anybody else in and elevate. Sammy, the fuck was he doing before he got tied up with the bloodline? He was having gimmick stunt matches with Johnny Knoxville. One full year on the island of relevancy, and then look where Sammy was. Now, what he's done since then kind of gives you an idea of, like, this is what happens when you don't have the type of creative that's going on at the top of the card. You have no direction. You back to doing what you were doing before. And now your partner hurt. And now you got a baseball-sized knot on your elbow.
Look at you now. You stupid.
They didn't even swap y'all belts out. They didn't even swap the belts out. We still carrying around them damn nickels. We still carrying around them damn nickel bags.
Them's down.
Level up. Tell Unc get you a 3-5. Shit.
Oh man. Terrible. What else do we have going on here outside of that? Before we start going around the world of wrestling,
you feel me?
Vince has taken a medical sabbatical for reparations on his back.
Yeah, some form of spinal surgery, which at his age that's brave, as brave as all get out.
But not nearly as brave as doing that and but stepping away from the actual arena and still being handed a grand jury summons.
That phone still work, my boy. So I don't want anybody to believe that Vince is not involved in what's going on and what you're seeing. That phone still work. Them text messages still go. And I guarantee you, at some point, he learned how to use FaceTime. He will be heard until he's no longer able to make noise.
Yep.
So now this lawsuit stuff, I mean, it's not the first time Vince has been called into court. Probably won't be the last at this point. So yeah, he either finna be lighter in the pockets, or none of these are criminal suits though, right? Like, but he is being investigated by. I take that back because he's being investigated by the SEC. So
right.
There's some criminal element to this. Just it not. It's going to be more white collar than anything. I don't know if they put a Dickie suit on him and then like. I mean, y'all know the difference between the orange jumpsuit and the Dickie suit. Y'all know the difference. One is for like what happened.
One's for local. One
yeah, there's
I'm sorry. No, there's local and there's
state and there's federal.
Well, there's different degrees of federal too.
Facts.
So he may go in there with some damn with some shit, some red monkeys on or something.
he's going to the part where one of the homies can come in and swap shoes with you during the visit.
Like
he's going to minimum security. Like
cooking pasta won't come from a bag, and it also supplied with cast iron.
He'll go to the same jail Martha Stewart went to.
Camp Cupcake.
Facts. And that's like if somebody doesn't negotiate, air quotes, house arrest. Like, how do you really give house arrest to a 70, 76, 77-year-old man? It's like, all right, cool. I'm rich. Like, what do you mean? Now I have all the time in the world to sit here and keep fucking with my son-in-law. Keep making this day harder.
Oh man.
Get well soon, all that stuff,
Well, stop your foolishness. Well, I guess it's too late to stop the foolishness because you're getting served for your past ills, but yeah.
Hell is you asking for? You asking for ribs at a vegan spot. What are you doing?
Nick Aldis came back for Slammiversary and lost in a match against Alex Shelley for the Impact World title. Was it Alex Shelley or Chris Sabin? I forgot. I think it was Alex Shelley.
Shelley.
Okay. Yeah, make sure I'm right. At least one of these guys I know. At any rate, we fast forward to that, and Nick Aldis is the man without a home. And a door was opened up for him at Stanford. Just not in the ring.
Bruce Pritchard strikes again. The boy said, I don't see him as a superstar, and guess what? You ain't gonna see him as a superstar unless I'm unemployed.
No dogs allowed.
Hey, look, I wouldn't even sweat it. Right now, you should be able to run up on Tony Khan and get a quick payday for All In. Like
he could get a 1-year run out of just being around.
Actual factuals. Look, at this point, if WWE done come on, and there's really a contract expiration that's looming, throw together a British supergroup right quick. Like give me Drew and Nick Aldis, and then
don't do that.
Give me some international pimping.
So
give me the international players anthem. Give me Aldis. Give me McIntyre, Ospreay.
Come on,
and
you know who's
Pac ain't doing shit. Put him on there.
You know who's going to manage him, don't you?
Who that?
Nigel.
Run the play. No, Nigel. No. Wait, what is Nigel doing right now? He's doing
commentary. Taz managed Team Taz. I mean, this is AEW. This ain't the E.
I mean,
and Aldis is only working 1 day a week.
I'm confident that group can talk well enough that they don't necessarily need Nigel McGuinness, but it could work.
You can't tell me that he wouldn't add more spark to that fire.
I gotta see it.
I mean, Ospreay would be. Ospreay is the Butch Reed of UK wrestlers right now.
Wait, what? Justify this. So you can't just say something like that and not explain.
British wrestlers speak with this certain vernacular, certain diction, right? Like a la Regal.
Bruv. That's who should have been
Osprey.
involved. Would have been Willie.
Osprey on the bruvs and the where he's from in London or wherever he's from in the UK. His diction is that of someone who is from the dirt, like he's from the soil.
Facts.
And he's saying everything but let me tell you something, boy. He's saying everything but that every time he says bruv. And it makes it hard for him to understand to a lot of people who aren't privy to that style of British dialect. So
check this out. What if this is hilarious. So what if you created basically a great value Judgment Day? Because Saraya ain't doing shit with the Outcast. So take that same group of 4 I just put together and let Saraya be a mouthpiece.
I don't know if it'd be a great value, because if you make Saraya the mouthpiece of that group and she shits all over whatever the fuck she's doing now, it makes it a win. It completely levels them up from the gate.
All I'm saying is you have opportunities to create better content. These are just for a nominal fee.
Soon to be.
A phenomenal fee. You'll slice off some of this broken pencil knowledge and put it on your plate.
I was supposed to hit that thing that loud, but it just kind of happened, but it was perfect.
That's what she said. That is what she said.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo. Listen.
Where do we want to go here next?
As I look at the agenda.
Oh, shit. We've started talking about AEW for all the wrong reasons.
Right. Since we're talking about putting it in Wembley.
All In 2023 has matches.
Finally.
And like that was my whole thing about this was, what are we going to build to? And literally in one night, we got 5 matches confirmed.
So run down the 5 we have confirmed. I do remember last week the world title match being the first announced.
All right. On the buy-in, we have Aussie Open, Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher, the ROH World Tag Team Champions, taking on Better Than You, Bebe, MJF, and Adam Cole. Now,
why this is on the buy-in, I do not understand. Make it the first match of the actual pay-per-view, but putting it on the buy-in, that wouldn't have been my call. But
I don't know if it was part of the bullet points as in Adam Cole's promo, or if the fact that he decided that he wants to sell the pay-per-view. It makes more sense to me when I tell you like this. Where are they going on their individual match, which is another match that's already on the card? MJF for the AEW Championship, defending against Adam Cole. Where is that match going on the main card?
Until I hear something else, it should be last.
Which means that this tag team title match should be the last match of the buy-in, in my opinion.
I said we're almost splitting hairs. Last match of the buy-in, first match of the pay-per-view. What's the difference?
About 30 minutes prep time, recuperation time, which can mean a lot.
Okay, look at it like this. Last match of the buy-in, you're wrestling the last match of the pay-per-view, you have more of an opportunity to get cold. There's no advantageous way to look at this.
You are wrestling twice in one night, and both matches are pretty prestigious matches, if I must.
And the first match you had went 30. So chances are this one's either going to go 30 or longer, because this is AEW and there's a different in-ring presentation.
We could possibly get a Broadway out of those two to close the show, with MJF winning by default as being the champion. There's that too. We've seen how many time limit draws and world championship matches in AEW? What, 2? And 4 years?
I stopped counting. You've had more time limit draws in AEW in the last 2 years than you've had in wrestling
in the last 20.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? And televised American wrestling in the last 20. So, yeah. Something does have to happen with this, though. I don't think you can go through the night without somebody showing their hand.
Buy-in, all in. Look at you. All right. FTR versus the Young Bucks.
I'll be here. I'm here every week.
FTR versus the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. That match, that's probably I may be semi-main, but Young Bucks like to go on early, and I don't.
Because they like to get their
that.
shit in. They like to make sure they get all their shit in, brother.
I just don't want to see 2 tag team title matches back to back. The way my wrestling is set up, I don't need to see that.
I can almost guarantee you that won't happen.
Okay, good.
I can 100% guarantee you that because the Young Bucks are very calculated about how and when they place themselves on the card. So it'll absolutely not be very close to any other tag team match. And it won't be so far towards the end that they don't have all the time that they want to do all the shit that they feel like they need. This is essentially the entire elite has re-signed with AEW. For those of you who don't know, they all have new contracts. They all signed extensions. This match is essentially their reward for re-signing. It's like we're gonna celebrate with another, feel the excitement. We're gonna celebrate with another tag title reign since we finally re-signed here. So, which it kind of makes me sad because I'm like the money would have been in the 6-man tag match.
Yep. Absolutely.
Punk and FTR versus the Elite. That's where the money was. And then you have a pay-per-view right after that. You go from All In to All Out. And All Out, you could have done the tag title match. I mean, I guess you can still work backwards. You can reverse them. You can do the tag title match here and then get the 6-man tag at All Out. Since that's kind of that's the 1-year anniversary of shit popping off anyway. But I figured you got 80,000 on the line. You putting it in Wembley. Like, let's make some headlines.
Right on. For the AEW Women's Championship Fatal 4-Way match, the champion Hikaru Shida taking on Toni Storm, Saraya, and the winner out of Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and or the Bunny. And we will find out who that's going to be after this weekend's wrestling event. So by the next show, we'll have this match set for you. And then
Storm, Sheeta, DMD, and who was the other one? I'm calling the 4.
Saraya.
Yeah, and Saraya. Saraya.
No, that's Saraya. I said Saraya, but Saraya. Yeah.
And we're getting ready to recrown DMD. That's me.
Needed.
Me calling shots.
Needed. It's shameful because Sheeta. Actually, I would like to see DMD crowned at All Out versus All In. But that's just me. There's no way they crown Saraya. No. I'll leave that. No, I'm not gonna even put that in the air.
You might as well because we're all thinking it.
Saraya at home wins the AEW Women's Championship to defend it against DMD the next week at All Out to lose to DMD. I don't want to see this title change this many times.
Why?
Why does it need to be? It doesn't.
This is a perfect time for us to go through what I've come to understand about AEW. If you've watched the last 40 years of American television when it comes to professional wrestling, you've been conditioned to think about things sort of one way. And it's episodic. It's storyline, build, and climax. It's if you go by the Eric Bischoff school of booking, then it's like 12 weeks and a payoff. Or if you go back through the annals or the annals of territory wrestling, depending on where you are and who you're dealing with. You work towards a big payoff show, yada yada yada. That's just the way the things. There's a natural progression of things. With AEW, it is very much indie wrestling with a big budget. Storyline sometimes matters, and it's more so. It feels like more so when the talent themselves come up with an idea for a story. But if you watch the television shows, you just look from week to week. You're just booking a card of matches every week. We're not following any sort of story arc type thing. We're not having the exact same people featured in a way to get them over. It's just here this week at Championship Wrestling. see this card, and next week we'll do something else. So when you watch AEW, for a lot of it, you have to decondition yourself from all the other wrestling you've watched for the last 40 years and realize that real life, this is like going to an indie show. The budget's just really big.
really.
It's just a really, really big budget and a whole lot of highly paid talent with an indie format. That's it. And if you can rationalize that, you can enjoy the product way more.
And those are your 5 matches for All In that have been booked so far. Oh no, that's 4. Here's the 5th one: Darby Allin and Sting versus AR Fox and Swerve Strickland.
Really?
And, you're not ready for this.
All right, come on with it.
Tag team coffin match.
The fuck is that? So wait, okay, perfect example of what I was just talking about. Were we not a couple weeks ago on Dynamite going back and forth and talking about the fact that Chris Jericho and Sting have never had a one-on-one match? So don't you think a really good idea for this humongous stadium show that you have coming is to finally cash in on what you've been talking about? Sting versus Jericho one-on-one. Don't you think that would have been a great place to book that? Now we got a tag team coffin match. What the entire fuck? I mean, hey, look, no disrespect to AR Fox. I don't necessarily have to have him involved like that. He could have been, you could have given me Darby versus Swerve again in a coffin match and just had AR Fox either at ringside or get involved because you know Nick Wayne's going to be there somewhere. Boom.
He might be the one to open up the coffin door or some shit.
He might be in one of the coffins for a spot. Easy peasy. Like, what? It's indie wrestling with a big budget. It is.
I just can't believe Sting is involved with this.
What else is he gonna do though? Other than what I just laid out, like Sting just having a good time at this point. Like, look, the check's clear every week. Is this where you want me? Cool. I'll clock in. You want me there at 5:30? I'll be here at 5. I'll clock in at 5:20.
Who retires Sting, Suave? He's supposed to be hanging up at the end of this year. Who retires him?
Darby.
I like that. I'm thinking Swerve. And sadly,
that would be a hell of a resume point.
Yeah,
I just feel like the writing is on the wall that it has to be Darby because Darby has to benefit from this relationship in the end.
It's like HBK and Flair.
Yes, like HBK and Flair. Like where's another one where like student turned on teacher type thing? That's essentially what this is.
Student turning on teacher.
Oh, back to the Sportatorium days. Steve Austin turning on Chris Adams.
Yep.
But it's very much in that vein where Darby's been getting the rub this whole time. So if someone's going to get the rub for retiring Sting, it should be in the midst of a Darby Allin heel turn, which I think would actually be very, very entertaining.
Let's see. And then where are we at here? We're doing too much. Oh, speaking of people from the Ghost of Christmas Past, Dark Side of the Ring. We haven't really touched on that too much this entire season, but we finally saw the finale of season 4, which was
in the can.
Pretty dark season. It was shrouded in controversy to start with because we didn't know what the outcome of Vice was going to be or the predicament Vice was going to be in it by this point in the year. But here they were. We 10 episodes deep. We got it. And
I think season 2 is way darker.
No, season 2 is way darker, but I definitely it's probably never go back and watch Dark. But
So you tell me what makes this season dark to you besides the name of the show.
The end of most of the episodes made you almost forget what you watched the previous 40 plus minutes going into the episodes.
Okay.
We're talking like let me matter of fact, let me pull up the list, because Adrian Adonis comes to mind as far as like his you and I had a nice text thread in jest about his extracurriculars.
Right. And then part of it for me just might be the fact that now that we're in season 4, I'm a little desensitized to the dark aspect, because it's like, none of these end well.
Right.
None of these.
Chris and Tammy was just a sad story. I mean, of course, we talked ad nauseum. Tammy's dark side episode is still going on in real life. Chris,
fam.
We even vowed to never talk about her again. This heifer has the nerve to have a brand new Facebook page. I digress. Magnum TA story.
This is the shit you can do when you're free.
Magnum TA story we all knew about. We just didn't hear the stories and like the backstories behind it, which that was pretty eye-opening. The Grams, I asked for this in season 1. I got it. And the Tales from the Territories.
That one, yeah.
The Tales from the Territories was actually darker than this one. And so if you really want to get deep into the Graham saga, go to Tales from the Territories.
That one's definitely dark, but at the same time, I think of the He Who Is Not to Be Mentioned episodes.
Yeah.
And then even the Von Erichs episodes of something that either rivals or surpasses it in darkness. Continue.
Matt Bourne, I knew from younger ages, hearing it from people in passing, that the name Maniac fit, and damn it, this proves it. And I remember living not too far from him when he passed away, and so the story traveled through local papers really quick and like online. JYD didn't. I knew how he passed. I didn't know the circumstances around his passing. It doesn't change how I feel about him. It just changes the outlook on, like
I knew both. I knew the circumstances around it and how he passed. I just wanted to hear, for me, I wanted to hear more how they told the story of why he was as big as he was, because that's the part I had never heard told with any great detail. So I wasn't watching for Mid-South JYD. I had never seen the JYD that made him a megastar. I
lived that in real time.
Yeah. The version I grew up with was the WWF version, the Rock and Wrestling version. So that's, according to everything, that's past his prime.
And we'll talk about him here in a second too on another piece of this show. Adrian Adonis, we just talked about. Abdullah the Butcher, fuck that guy. Bam Bam Bigelow.
I knew you was gonna go there.
Honestly, Bam Bam, I think his episode, he could have stand to have a 2-parter. I would have liked to see more about his career, and I guess that would be a dark side of the ring, but he's one of the most underappreciated talents in the history of the business. He always talk about how he was like the prototype for a big man, for an agile big man, but they never really go into detail other than showing his awkward moonsault, his quickness, how he was the same size his entire career from time he started to the time he passed, and even the flame tattoos. They don't really go. I've never really seen people go into detail, and there's shoot interviews out there that he's had, but I think he deserves a little bit more credit than he's been given.
He's one of those talents that you really would benefit if WWE produced a career documentary on. Like when they used to do DVDs, where like you had the Mr. Perfect DVD, the Bobby Heenan, like everybody got their own working documentary. Like I think Bam Bam would really, really have benefited from that.
Bash at the Beach I found that one to be one of the more comical
Yeah, me too.
Dark side. It was a lighter shade of brown, if you will, or
Because
lighter
I
shade of
really
dark.
wanted to hear the story because everybody involved is still alive.
Yeah, and I think they did a good job of telling it to a point where we can understand the fuckery that was involved and understand, like, even though if this wasn't the Charlotte Border Camels back for WCW, how it could have been a catalyst to be the Charlotte Border Camels back. And then Marty Jannetty. We've talked about him on this show over the years too, from getting topped off by an Uber driver, Uber delivery driver rather, to him allegedly making some man disappear for the first time. Like,
I'm gonna be real with you. Marty Jannetty's episode was entertaining and hilarious to me because even when it got dark at the very end, it's like he's still alive.
Yeah, and he's what, you know, they say the good die young, and if you saw his ankle,
he do just enough dirt to stay above earth. The good die young. I do just enough dirt to stay above earth.
That's a jewel right there, Suave.
It's a bar, son.
Is there? I mean, of course, stories are always being made. Is there enough material for season 5? Are there people that we're missing?
Of course. Like you named Tammy, that's an episode. Okay, mixtape. We'll come up with season 5.
We've already had Gino Hernandez. We need Chris Adams. That's a dark side.
Chris Adams by himself is a dark side. The lawsuits against WCW.
That's a whole season.
It is a multi-episode season. Like it is, but if either you can do them all in one episode, or you can do one on just the one that got hard work Bobby Walker paid.
Oh man,
it was like a racial defamation, racial discrimination suit. Like they've had quite a few, so that could go on a list. Who hasn't had their story told? Some people you're not going to
Watts.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Well, and I'm not saying that from like a career standpoint, more so than I am like give some background in his career, but there are people that are still alive that were in Mid-South that no longer speak to that man.
No, who is still alive? That's probably shit. Well, I know ain't gonna speak to that man. Hank Aaron.
Wait, Hank Aaron?
His spirit's still alive. Just go with it. Just go with it. Just run the reverse. Just run the reverse.
Let's see. Who else can we do?
Patterson.
I figured they already did him.
Since Vince settled and paid out the referee that he fired, the lady referee that he fired, they went ahead and settled.
Mike McGurk.
Yes, tell that story. It's just most everybody involved in that story is dead.
Wait, was it Mike McGurk? Because Mike McGurk, she was the first female referee in WWE.
This shit happened like '86. It was all centered around the whole thing with the ring boy and Patterson and whoever else, and who did and who didn't, who got fired, who got brought back, who was actually involved with it. Like that's a dark side episode by itself.
All right, next up, timing of this one is actually pretty terrible, but I mean it's dark side of the ring, so I mean fuck it. Darren Drozdoff.
Yeah.
I hate this because gang is involved. I was speaking.
Whole lot of fucking gang shit.
Never missed the opportunity to shout the gang. I hate this because gang is involved. D'Lo Brown, and I'm sure he doesn't mind telling the story,
right?
To put a period on the discussion. But I think that as a moment for Draw's fans, for both from the NFL, professional wrestling, and post injury, well, I guess that would be 3. A moment of closure, a moment of finality in his recent passing. Who else you got, Suave?
Let's see. I had one in my mind, and listening to you about Drozdoff, which is a awesome pick. I dropped it. I know who's going to be I won't say that. I'll say they're living a dark side in progress. hopefully that does not tailspin into the worst part. Jeff Hardy.
Damn. You know what? That may be the wake up call he needs to see in cinematic format how
all of his fuck ups. I mean,
to get pulled over in a town of which you're a fucking hero in.
I doubt he would sign off on that.
He may not have to.
I doubt he would sign off on it before he retires. Now, if he officially retires, goes into the private sector, and he's essentially living a cleaner existence, I think he might, maybe. But
you ever seen a show on Reels called Autopsy?
I feel like I may have seen it before.
It's a very I can't call it. It's not the title is not accurate at all. It's Smoke and Mirrors. You can't go and perform an autopsy on somebody after they're already buried. Not without an exoneration order, and even then, it's a problem, right?
Right.
So to call a show Autopsy is misleading because it makes you think that you're going to get a bird's eye view into the actual autopsy of that person. It's about 40 minutes of conspiracy theories around the leading to circumstances around the death, and about 5 minutes about the actual cause of death, regardless of what that may be.
Mm-hmm.
They did one on Randy Savage, they did one on Bob Saget, and something along those lines. And you have people involved in these people's lives that are probably no longer in these people's lives. Like if they were still living, they probably wouldn't have any factor or any bearing on their validity and the relationship of that person. That said, you could do a bunch of like media digs, media dives into Jeff Hardy's criminal past and put together something similar if you really wanted to. Because how many times have we seen Dark Side episodes and they tapped for somebody? Here's one, the one that shall not be mentioned. Kevin Sullivan was tapped for it. He refused to comment, but he's been in a couple of Dark Side of the Rings.
Yeah, he chooses not to speak on that. The only reason I look at this potential idea differently is you're going to have a large portion of that viewing audience look at Jeff Hardy as a success story unless something goes terribly wrong. Because all they're going to say is, well, he cleaned up and got back into the business type thing. There are a lot of excuses that are going to get made in the process on behalf of Jeff Hardy, unless something else happens.
To paraphrase Common and to quote Sean Price, y'all know how I met her. We broke up and got back together, then broke up and got back together. That's Jeff Hardy's career with professional wrestling.
You've seen Matt Hardy's recent internet activity, right?
Matt Hardy's? No. and I'm ashamed to say that I haven't, because we talk about him heralding the virility of social media as a professional wrestler, as being a pioneer, if you will. But
let's just say in the year 2023, everybody's wearing rose-colored glasses when looking at their own resume. That's the easiest way to explain it. Everyone is wearing rose. Yeah, like everyone's reading their resume behind rose-colored glasses. So nobody remembers the dumb shit they've done. No one remembers any of the bad stuff. They're tallying stats kind of. It's almost, how people try to make a case for the Hall of Fame without making a case for the Hall of Fame. Like they start quoting their own stats type thing. Like that's pretty much where we are with that. And I didn't see the match with the Young Bucks that just took place. I didn't hear good things though, because the last one was what it was. It's just about that time. Like it's name only at this point, which they've earned the right to just walk off into the sunset with no criticism. But how long are you going to stick around? Are you going to wait till some shit goes terribly wrong? like both of you have cheated death in the ring and out. Recently cheated death. Not very long ago, Matt Hardy fell off of something onto some concrete with his head.
Head first. had his wife cussing up a storm on Twitter live during a pay-per-view.
Out here loopy as fuck on pay-per-view.
And this wasn't even in front of a fucking crowd. That's what made it even worse.
And then they let you finish. They didn't Kanye you.
Leaking.
Right. And then you got the adventures of Jeff Hardy. Like, you pick one. Just pick one. So
it involves a motorcycle. Yeah, there's about 4 of those.
So I mean, yeah, like they're 1 or 2 bad decisions from being Jannetty. Like that's the shit that's crazy. Marty Jannetty is 1 or 2 better decisions from being a Hardy Boy. Wow. Like in wrestling folklore, he's 1 or 2 decent decisions from being in that level of acclaim. And in turn, the Hardy Boys are 1 or 2 more bad decisions from being in Marty Jannetty territory. Marty Jannetty is like after school special evil AJ Styles.
Before watching that Dark Side with Jannetty, I never would have imagined that cocaine and hookers would have been his downfall. Because did you see the mouth of that chick that was on that show?
Hey man, listen, I'm not here to speak
her
on
teeth are the color of your beard. Same color scheme too.
Dude, there you have it.
Cocaine
is a hell of a drug, and so are the rest of them.
Do I have anybody else off the top of the head I can think of for a Dark Side? And I'm reaching here too.
Anything involving Vince, anything involving what's his face? Laurinaitis. What's dude's name used to be talent relations there?
Which
Carrano.
Oh, Mark Carrano, yeah.
Mark Carrano. Those are 3 separate episodes by themselves, and you can lump them all together.
I was thinking something along those lines, like
Dixie Carter.
Well, okay, hold on. I'm coming back to her because she's on my list with another one, like a Tupac Shakur. I guess this would be a tongue-in-cheek reference, the emancipation of Jerry McDevitt.
You're just gonna do like a career anthology of all the shit he's done to keep their ass out the fire. I can, you know what? I like that. I like doing basically giving Jeremy McDevitt his flowers.
It's like you don't really deserve to sniff real flowers, but you deserve something for being able to navigate around the road filled with all the shit that you had to drive down.
The hell you say he don't deserve flowers? You know how much federal time he done took off that man's shoulders?
That man, how many others for that matter?
Exactly. That man is responsible for more prison time being dodged than extradition laws.
than snitching.
You feel me? You got 2 choices in this matter, homeboy. You call McDevitt or you rat. I'm calling McDevitt.
Hey, Jerry. It's like you walk into a lawyer's office. You see the picture of a man on the wall, and you think that he might be like an influential person or like the first client there. And as a client, you ask the attorney, like, why is he on the wall? He killed his whole family. Why is he on the wall? He didn't do any jail time. He was found not guilty. Why is he on the wall? I defended him.
He got him on the wall like stuffed animals.
That's when you look like Peter Griffin. What? So why is he on the wall? I defended him like this.
That's hilarious.
Dixie Carter, Joe Koff / uncle. You know his name. Founder of ROH.
Feinstein?
Nope, not him. You throw him. You can bundle him in there too.
That whole chop, the thing that busted all that apart. That ring that got busted.
All that.
Jerry Lawler.
Kerry Silkin. That's his name. Kerry Silkin. Yeah.
Jerry Lawler is a Dark Side of the Ring. Jerry Lawler's 1993-94 is a Dark Side of the Ring by itself.
There are so many aspects to that to him, and then you also could. I don't know if there's enough people willing to tell the story of Brian Christopher Lawler to make a Dark Side of the Ring. I mean,
people start talking when you start waving checks in people's faces. They start talking
between Lawler, Dundee, I
mean, there's a Memphis wrestling episode, obviously, but then there's just
the Dark Side.
Yeah, Jerry Lawler's 1993-94 to where he made it to WWF, was in ring, then commentary, then gone. No explanation. Pops back up in 94 at WrestleMania 10 because something happened. Tell the story of what happened in between.
You'll find out on the McDevitt episode.
You know what? Season 5 should just be dedicated to McDevitt. So every episode is going to be somebody that he kept out of jail.
So let me
I like it.
See here. Let me see. Evan Eisner, is that his name?
I've heard that name before.
He's one of the creators of Dark Side of the Ring.
Wait, did Ahmed Johnson have a Dark Side of the Ring?
No, I saw a picture of him recently. Oh my goodness.
I did too. I'm saying his story is pretty involved too. So I think, a Dark Side of the Ring on him would be, I think that you can get 45 minutes out of that.
Evan Husney, Jason Eisner, holler at us. Whenever y'all have a moment, let's rap. We can provide some color to your commentary, if you will. All puns intended. Nominal fee and all that.
All of that. Every last bit of that.
Every last bit of that. Speaking of darker sides of things, and not a darker side of the ring, this is
on both sides.
Right side. Our one of our most fabled characters and people on this show is celebrating his 31 years as the recognized first Black World Heavyweight Champion, and Ron Simmons.
31 years ago in August 1992, Ron Simmons beat Vader for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship at a house show.
And you would have never known it because of how television was produced and distributed back then, at a fucking house show.
So you ended up finding out on the weekend shows on WCW Worldwide,
NWA Pro, WCW Pro.
Yeah, if you didn't watch the syndicated shows, it could be weeks before you knew whether or not something happened. This is pre Monday Night Wars. This is Clash of the Champions era.
Every show was a tip collabo. You had Prime Time was the best thing that you had going because you had Heenan and Monsoon. But even that was a tape collabo. And that was just an amalgamation of house shows that had commentators on it. I mean, that's all that was.
Look, syndicated television in that era was basically everything was a recap.
Yep.
Everything was just a recap show, getting you ready for the next big show, or trying to get you to get ready for the next pay-per-view.
I don't know about a recap, because you had Superstars and you had Worldwide, which they were taped at house shows, in some cases multiple locations, to put together an actual cohesive show that bled into that read the storylines leading up to the next either major show at either Madison Square Garden or the Omni in Atlanta respectively, or a pay-per-view. But what you're All American was like what you're talking about, where it was a show where it was a full recap show of everything that happened that was notable that week, with a little bit of seasoning with some bullshit.
When I say recap, from the syndicated shows, I mean more in the aspect of we're gonna tie together the loose ends of whatever the current feuds and stories are. We'll show you current matches and we'll have stuff on the card, but every vignette or every non-wrestling match commentary talking is about, this is what happened here, this is what we're getting ready for, so we're pushing you towards say it be Halloween Havoc. Like everything about it, because we're at that point in time, we're not doing monthly pay-per-views, everything's quarterly. So we're pushing towards who's the next challenger for the World Heavyweight Championship. Who's developing a story with these people.
Yep.
Going towards War Games, like what faction is running roughshod, who a team of baby faces is going to have to assemble to try to take down. So that's what I mean by recap. It's like it's keeping you up to date with the developments of the story because you don't have live TV, you don't have very many events. All you're dealing with is syndicated television, and if you're actually going to house shows. So that's that.
That's that. Is there anything else that we're missing?
I believe you think Matt Riddle is being unfairly.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. What I said was
okay. Clarify.
Okay, so first of all, give context for what we're talking about.
So for context, there's a report floating around the internet that internally in Stanford, the feeling is that Matt Riddle, because of some of his lifestyle choices and some of his turbulent behavior in the recent past, he's not at the forefront of any push ideas. Like they've basically cooled off on trying to make him a bigger star or put him into a role where you would see his face on the posters type thing. He's plateaued as far as his, career trajectory.
What
activity
is allegedly leading to what you're talking about?
The use of illicit street drugs, the
Rob Van Dam, and also that was the reason why he did not get signed to WWE for so long, and also the reason that he was exited from the UFC. So they relaxed the policy on the one thing that he's addicted to, unless there's more involved that's popping up on wellness tests that no one's talking about.
They did. You remember this last stint where it ended up having to be a rehab thing? It was not a.
Yep.
It was not a weed. It wasn't a weed thing.
I forgot about that. Yep. Okay. So that's okay.
Yeah. So without getting too far into the man's business, I mean, he's got some points on his resume that don't necessarily correlate with marijuana.
Put a pin in that statement there. Go ahead. Give me another one.
So then there's the very ugly nature of his separation from his previous wife.
Now, is he still married or is he going through the divorce?
I think he's already officially divorced. I haven't checked for sure, but
I haven't found anything that says that he is officially divorced yet.
I mean, sometimes people leave shit on paper. Who knows? Considering
how nasty some of the things that I've been reading have been, I would not be surprised if that were the case. That they're not officially divorced and still going through the motions.
I mean, there is a lot of ugly stuff going back and forth when it comes to child custody. It
is quite unfortunate.
It's a lot of dirty laundry being aired.
Yes, it's quite unfortunate.
And okay, you think about how it's like kind of scarce information now. Imagine if that's the WWE champion.
Continue.
So then there's the current relationship with a parent porn star. Again,
not just relationship, alleged impregnation.
Right, they've moved very much forward in their vibe. They're very much taking the relationship to the next step,
to the next level. Yeah,
right. So
Rob Van Dam again. Rob Van Dam had a really nasty divorce. Went into what could be deemed as a midlife crisis. To me, is just reliving the second childhood, whatever. And then end up getting involved with Katie Forbes, also an adult entertainer.
To what people call now being a city boy or hot boy summer.
Hot boy summer. I believe he's married Katie Forbes at this point. I may be wrong, but either way, they are a very tight knit item. Like you don't see one without the other.
I hear what you're saying, and I do understand the comparison that you're making, but to that, I asked this one question. When was the last time you heard Stanford thinking about putting money behind Rob Van Dam?
Don't worry. I'll come back. I'll come back to it. Keep going.
I mean that's pretty much it, and I understand it from the aspect of, are you willing to make this guy one of the faces of your company, considering what his current life status is?
Here's the disconnect that I have with all of this.
Okay.
It's the ultimate double standard. The man with the money is holding back the man who he's paying for doing the exact same shit at a lower level. Vincent Kennedy
Who are you
McMahon.
dealing with?
Vincent Kennedy McMahon is doing the exact same shit that is allegedly causing, well, allegedly doing the exact same shit that's allegedly causing one Matt Riddle to be held back, if you will.
Do it as I say, not as I do.
To the public, it's none of your fucking business. First,
who are you dealing with?
Second of all, some aesthetically, like from a standpoint of investment and public appeal, yeah, some of these things don't make sense. You're absolutely right, but can't you turn negatives into a positive? Don't you have the ultimate spin committee in Jerry McDevitt? Like, he's not done yet.
Oh, he is done. He out of here.
Okay.
If he say he done at the end of the year, that means he ain't in the office no more.
But you got people there in the office that can put a spin on just damn near anything. They can.
But with as many people as Stanford employs, why should I have to? It's next man up mentality. If you're not prepared to be in the light, I will put this light on somebody else who is. I don't have to wait for you. There's nothing about you that says I have to wait for you to get your shit together to put some money behind you and make you a star.
Okay, cool. Define getting your shit together, because I know it's a few things that are not going to happen. If he's not done with the divorce, it's not going to be done. Even if it's done anytime soon, it's not going to make the divorce go away. Him impregnating an adult entertainer, that baby's not going to just vanish.
Right.
And if he vanishes from the situation and he wasn't asked to or wasn't forced to, then he's a bigger piece of shit than this article is making him be. So what exactly is getting your act together? Like, the drugs is the only thing he can really change about this situation at this point. They knew what they were getting when they knew what the fuck they signed up for.
Give me that part. No, weed is one thing, but when it's Molly, when it's coke, when it's you out here basically having a midlife crisis, like your home life fell apart, so I'm gonna go wife up a porn star, do all the drugs and do all the fucking, because that's essentially what you've done.
Yeah,
cool. That's your life decision, your life, your choice, your body, your choice, as we say. But again,
you can stop the drugs, but you're not going to stop wifing somebody for the sake of your career, and that's especially when there's a baby involved. That child ain't doing nothing to you.
One, he wouldn't be the first or the last. Two, I agree that's still not a reason. Who you choose to be, air quotes, in bed with is not a reason to have your career stalled. However, we've seen it, and we will see it again as time goes on. Here's the issue with it. All of these things are fine until your face is on a poster that we are trying to use to garner revenue. And then in a public space, when we are doing PR, we have to spend time talking about your life choices rather than the event and or merchandise we are trying to sell to these people. Because the morality police don't take days off.
You know the easiest thing Matt Riddle could have done to make this situation a full-blown positive, even with all the negativity? Made the public smell his cologne a la Chad Butler.
Okay, explain.
If he had got ahead of the situation, like when the shit hit the fan and he started getting blowback, like I haven't seen any blowback from this article, and I haven't seen any blowback that led to this other than the actions themselves, just hearing about it in passing, right? But suppose someone brings smoke to him about this, and he brought smoke back, and that got public. Like nothing. Nothing's louder than the loudest shot.
Right, because we say all the time, what's the difference between the lie and the truth?
Lawsuit.
Cool, totally understood. And if Matt Riddle wanted to take that approach, I would completely support the idea that I support speaking up for yourself, especially when you feel like you've been wronged.
Yeah.
But if the shit's really happening, shut the fuck up. Just let this shit play out. So when you say what can he do to air quotes get his shit together, we need 6 months where we don't hear shit bad about you. We don't hear nothing about drug use. We don't hear nothing about being upset about your space on the card. It's literally, and I'm sure Triple H would and could explain this to him because he's been in that situation before from a professional standpoint. You're gonna, because of Stanford and the way that they conduct business, again, who are you dealing with? Eat shit, learn to like the taste of it until they decide they want to do something with you and or your contract expires. But at this point, no one is willing to take the risk, because that's what it is. It's risk of putting you in a prominent featured position when you have the ability to make the news at any point.
Let's
you can pop up with your girlfriend on OnlyFans. How we gonna explain that? How I'm gonna make you the champ and we finna do some Make-A-Wish stuff and you know what I'm saying?
You out here with somebody that you can find for $3.99 bucky naked.
Plus you violating what is it, the name, image, likeness. You violating. That might get you canned. It got Mandy fired and she ain't knocked nothing down.
That travesty.
Okay, now
but good on her because she made it work.
Factual, because what's the oldest hustle in the world?
That gang you know.
It's been selling longer than food and beverage,
man.
So don't stop me when I start lying. No, don't stop me when your feelings hurt. Stop me when I start lying.
Let me keep it. Let me change it. Get back a little bit more chipper here. And I say little because this is laughable.
Okay.
You sent me an Instagram article from Debate Wrestling Opinions _ or Debatable Wrestling Opinions _
No shit, debatable.
Top 10 baby faces of all time.
All time.
Does not specify where they're from. It just says top 10 baby faces of all time. You ready?
Run it.
From 10 to 1, Becky Lynch, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Mick Foley, Rey Mysterio, Jeff Hardy, Stone Cold, Daniel Bryan, Hulk Hogan, John Cena. Why did I go through that so fast? First of all, number 10 is Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch had one of the, I guess, most feel-good babyface runs until they tried to put a rocket on her back. And that's when the universe said, hold on, not so fast. This ain't that. And if you got to do that with somebody who's only been on TV for the last, 10 years max, I can name 10 that can replace this number 10 by myself. I would give y'all that game, but we do tournaments around this bitch. Expect one of these coming. What you got on this, Suave?
Okay, so I don't have the same issue with Becky Lynch that most people have. From a performance and whatever standpoint. I do think we need clarification on what the definition of babyface is. Because some of these are just like, I was over for a while. Becky Lynch kind of comes under that umbrella of, I got hot for a minute. Because the man was a tweener situation. I don't know if you would necessarily call that a babyface. Certainly not babyface in the traditional sense of the word. Like, where is Ricky Steamboat?
Bruh, never
been a heel ever.
Match, never got booed.
Never been a heel in a match ever. and was just on TV 2 weeks ago.
70-year-old man getting his hand handed to him by Ricky Starks. And what did the crowd do? They love Ricky Starks. They turned on Ricky because you were hitting Ricky Steamboat with a belt.
Where is Sting?
Sting was booed for all the wrong reasons. What happened after that? Cheered to the umpth degree. In fact, every time he's been booed, it was for all the wrong reasons.
Sting went through his hot phase in the very tail end of the 80s, early 90s. WCW went through a floundering period where, and then Sting was along for the ride. He had to suffer through the Hogan era, and then Crow Sting happened. But in that window where it's classic, I guess you would classic WCW pre-Hogan, he is the most popular person in the company several years running.
The reason why Shane Douglas got the nickname he got in Ring of Honor was because Sting walked so that he could run. Sting was walking in WCW as the franchise.
ECW, but yes.
Oh yes, ECW. I'm sorry.
Who's another good one?
JYD.
Wait, Dusty Rhodes isn't on this list.
Now, mind you, Dusty Rhodes was booed a few times, but Dusty Rhodes was the biggest baby face because he was going against the biggest heels. You're going against Russians during a Cold War?
Dog.
Wow.
Dog. I understand that there's a generation gap in some of this stuff that comes out because not everybody goes back and does their history. Not everybody does their Googles. But, like, fam, for real? I wouldn't have put Shawn Michaels on here. Like he was,
I wouldn't have either. He was a great face. He was a greater heel.
Way better.
If you put Shawn Michaels on there, you better put Triple H on there because Triple H was as much a face as he was a heel, especially in the later years. Only out of respect from the fans.
I'm not willing to do that.
I'm not. Me either. Nope.
I don't even necessarily have like Bret Hart is one of those.
Bret Hart. The first thing comes to mind for me with him when it comes to this list is handing over his glasses to the fans in the front row. That's it. I have no gravitation towards Bret Hart whatsoever. I think they manufactured his love.
His greatness increases with every year that continues to go in the wrestling business because you can look back fondly and appreciate and see how ahead of his time he was. But in terms of just moving the needle as a baby face, I don't know if I'm gonna put all time on that. I wouldn't put him above Ricky Steamboat. I wouldn't put him above Sting. I wouldn't put him above Dusty Rhodes.
There's only a couple people on this list I'm putting above The Rock.
Then there's that. So we just gave you 4 that should be on this list that's gonna knock the bottom off of whatever's going on around here.
And like I'm wiping my daughter's ass with this list.
Jeez, take it easy.
Take it easy.
Take it easy. Just
shout out to my guy DJ Donut. Take it easy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is the list of somebody who started watching during the Ruthless Aggression era. Like dead ass. Like this is
SmackDown couldn't pick a name between UPN and CW. It's
this is very much
sci-fi.
Like you started watching wrestling when Cena had tights still. Like wow. Before Cena started rocking throwbacks, that's when you started watching. It's a lot of wrestling history missed. And when you put all time on something, I think you really got to do a lot more.
There were some people, I'm gonna give you one. There were some people that were present during this entire era that they're talking about. Take out Becky Lynch. I got one person that belongs on this list that was involved in somehow, some way involved with everybody listed on this paper.
Shoot,
CM Punk.
You know he is the ultimate tweener / heel at this point.
Man, like he's polarizing.
Keep it G. If we were replacing Becky Lynch with another woman, Lita.
Boy,
You know how like we just got done talking about how the Hardy Boys and their resume and how fondly it's looked upon. Lita is right there in that same stratosphere because of what she was doing at the time.
Can you imagine, or can you remember off the just flashback real quick? We talked about just a couple of weeks ago how jeered Lita was and how much of a pop she got because of the live sex celebration. That was literally them blowing the candle out on the Attitude Era, the live sex celebration.
I can sort of see that.
Can you imagine? Like you remember how loud that reaction was and how everybody was just they were over for Edge and Lita because that happened when they weren't even supposed to be faces at all.
Right, because I mean at their core, the American audience has this perception of that wholesome content is what they really want. Until you give them something that shows the opposite. So it's we want the hero to triumph in the end. We want to go home happy. We want to kiss all the babies and hug all the old people. Until you see a heel come out and throw ceremonial salt in an old woman's eyes, and then it's the greatest thing you've ever seen on television.
I'll take you back to when, like, I want to say 98, when Kevin Nash came out and acted a fool on Nitro and said bullshit, and they missed the cue. Me as a father, if I have my daughter or my son in the crowd with me, I'm doing this because I don't know what's next. But the fan in me is, I'm locked in because we ain't getting that. Now they just dropping the word around like it's soap in a prison on AEW.
Okay. Shawn Michaels' boyhood dream was the selling point for his title reign until he got to New York and met Sid. And it was like no one ever liked him ever. But people want wholesome until you give them a wholesome. Hey, that's a right.
That's it.
Write them.
What's the song, Suave? Was it Writer's Block?
Oh, which song?
It was on Suave on Prime.
I know what you're talking about. Damn it. What is that called?
See, I got. Let me go digging through Suave folders.
Just hold what you got. That's a damn shame. I don't remember the titles of my own damn records.
What was the bar though? What did you say though just now?
The song is called Bar Mitzvah. Damn.
Bar Mitzvah. That's it.
It's Bar Mitzvah. But
so what was don't worry, we got it.
People want wholesome until you give them a wholesome.
Jewel.
Or if you want to substitute for wholesome, meaning sum total, when you give them the complete picture, they appreciate that more than the happy ending.
Wait, what massage parlor have you been to?
I haven't been to one, but I can tell you how to get there.
Hey, look,
hey, I used to DJ around some savages. I do know how to get there.
Bada boom, bada bing.
But I ain't paying for it. I grew in. I didn't flew in.
There it is. Finally, like I said, we can talk about this heel face shit all day long, but we got to turn
it'll be a tournament. It'll
be a good one. We'll put it the right time too. We'll season that real perfect for you. Matter of fact, I got the right time for that too. Last but certainly not least, talking about giving somebody his roses. Endeavor has let it be known that they need a paradigm shift on what's considered to be the flagship show for the WWE. They pulled a boss card, took Michael Cole and his co-pilot Wade Barrett, put them on Monday Night Raw, and now we have Vic Joseph and Corey Graves on Friday Night SmackDown, which honestly, I haven't really thought that Monday Night Raw had the same luster since they moved Cole off of Monday Night Raw, which is about 3 years ago.
Sometimes it's best to just leave well enough alone.
And now that Endeavor is playing ball like this is a boss call, and of course, let it feel like, and I'm throwing that in air quotes, let it feel like Fox had some involvement in the way that shaped up to begin with to get Cole over there, because that's when Cole went to SmackDown.
They're still trying to figure out what's going on with Pat McAfee. They're like, can we get him back? Can we split time between ESPN and this?
I'm sure you can, but let that man enjoy his newborn.
I don't
even think the baby's here yet.
Ain't nan TV executive worried about nothing that has to do with his personal life. When can you come to work? And that's all they're concerned with. And you know that's the case. They don't care how many kids you have, how many you got pending. Can we get this man back to work? Because when he was on, things were better. That's all they're waiting on. That's all they need. Those are the answers they want. But since we're on the subject of commentary, got to give a shout out to Big E, who reportedly, because of some recent news, has been informed by his doctors that he should not return to the ring. I was always very much leaning towards this path just because of the injury and where its location is. Reportedly, allegedly, he has expressed some interest in commentary, which I think is probably a hidden gem, and I think he might be great.
He's so hilarious.
Quick-witted, distinctly different voice.
Knowledgeable people behind the stick. CM Punk. What's my man that couldn't keep stepping on his own toes? Matt
Striker.
Exactly, Matt Striker.
That's horrible that I know him based on that definition, but it's Stanford.
Right. Michael Hayes as a wrestler. These are people that come to mind when I hear, because like Big E will probably be the most comedic this side of a lighthearted version of Jim Cornette. Because Jim Cornette's probably the most hilarious person on the stick next to Bobby Heenan, but Jim Cornette's a funny, ain't everybody's brand of funny. Big E can relate to the masses because he gives you the appeal of a professional wrestler while also still being a damn near 40-year-old child. He'll be able to relate across the board. I look forward to hearing him on the microphone. If doctors are saying it's best for business for you to stay away from the business, stay as close as you can to the business without getting your nose in the business.
Right. And luckily he's been saying that he has no nerve damage, he has lost no strength. All great things, all things that usually do not come with neck injuries and surgeries. So I mean,
firsthand.
I wish it, yeah, right. I wish him the best of health and the best of wealth. And as long as he got them two coming in, like,
he ain't got to worry about nothing else. He got a lifetime.
He's gonna be able to contribute to the business in a myriad of ways, and it doesn't just mean inside the ring. And
it also doesn't have to mean that it's going to be stuck to either Stanford or Orlando.
Then there's that.
Show at BrokenPistolBC.com, BrokenPistolBC@gmail.com, at BrokenPistolBC on all things social, at BrokenPistolBC on what?
Everything.
Suave, take him to the house.
Like, rate, subscribe, share, rewatch, download, tell a friend, share it again, create another account, subscribe from there, turn on your notifications.
Like a farm hoe.
Check your email, return all your text messages.
I like that there.
And yeah, pencil pushers. Heads up, pencils down.
This is episode 214. Dallas Hope, I miss you. Kind of.
It's hot in there in this bitch. You ain't missing nothing.
78 degrees over here.
It's a bunch of transplants making traffic bad. They don't know how to merge. You don't want no parts of this.
We got polite drivers. They wave at you as they let you in front of them.
See, now you're making me want to move.
Pull up. I'm 10 minutes from the airport. You know I got you. I won't even order your Uber. I'll pick you up. That's what I do.
Oh, celebrity treatment, boy.
Curbside hoe. You better ask somebody. Pinky turn. I'll pick you up in the lack.
Oh man, say, look.
Next question is, which one? Bullshit.
Sell me mine.